making headlines. The Higher Education Ministry undertakes several initiatives to develop people suitable for work environment. The Islamic Minister reveals that the government is undertaking various initiatives to establish a framework for providing financial support to social and religious organizations. And the Heritage Minister announces the government's overarching goal of developing museums in various locations of the Maldives. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News. I'm your host Malak Ahmad Fayaz. Now for the news in detail. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu transfers the National Job Centre to the Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development in July. The centre, which was previously under the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade, was renamed as the National Career Service (NCS), aimed at expanding its role. With this change being implemented, the Higher Education Ministry has undertaken several initiatives to connect the higher education sector and the labour market. The Job Centre served as a platform in which unemployed individuals can interact with potential employers. Speaking to a program aired on PSM News, Minister of State for Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development, Dr. Abdullah Nazir, emphasized that the government's top priority is to pave the way for children to choose their career paths and support them in achieving their goals. It additionally aims to ensure that the children entering the work environment are completing higher studies, have the essential skills required to cope in the work environment. Aiming to achieve this goal, State Minister Dr. Nazir revealed that programs are being planned and will be launched within the upcoming month. The State Minister assured the government's full commitment and support to children in choosing their career paths during the program. He affirmed that information pertaining to higher education opportunities in the Maldives and from foreign institutions will also be made available. As such, Nazir stated that children will be enlightened on the fields which are important for the Maldives' economic development and the higher education and training opportunities from the representative fields. He expressed optimism in the initiative, stating that it will build a well-educated and skilled workforce, ease in the process of recruiting them. The Industrial Relations Act and the Occupational Safety Act introduced to the Maldives consist of sections outlining the development of labourers. The creation of the NCS will play a pivotal role in implementing these legislations. Minister of Islamic Affairs Dr. Muhammad Shahim Ali Saeed reveals that the government is undertaking various initiatives to establish a framework for providing financial support to social and religious organizations.
Speaking at the inaugural ceremony of the annual conference of religious and social organizations, Minister Dr. Shahim stated that several organizations running religious programs in various locations of the Maldives have sought financial aid from the Ministry of Islamic Affairs. Therefore, the minister emphasized the need to create a dedicated system to facilitate the distribution of these funds. Acknowledging the works of such organizations, Minister Dr. Shahim underscored the crucial importance of expanding the roles of such organizations. The minister pointed out the absence of Quran classes and religious awareness activities on some islands, underscoring the need for the establishment of organizations in these areas and the strengthening of existing ones. Furthermore, Minister Dr. Shahim highlighted the importance of ensuring better document monitoring to ensure that the system to provide funds operates sustainably and efficiently. He reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to supporting these organizations by allocating a portion of its budget for this purpose. The annual conference was attended by 98 representatives from 70 organizations, with some participating in person and others joining virtually. The conference will provide updates on ongoing efforts to boost religious awareness, identify changes needed to improve the spread of the religion, and offer insights into enhancing religious awareness through legal and regulatory measures. The event will conclude with an agreement between the ministry and the organizations aimed at increasing religious awareness and providing financial assistance.
Minister of Divehi Language, Culture and Heritage Adam Nasir Ibrahim announces the government's overarching goal of developing museums in various locations of the Maldives. Speaking to PSM News, Minister Adam Nasir revealed the government's plan of establishing museums depending on the revenue it is able to generate. The minister stated that projects such as the development of museums and other similar projects will be considered and included in next year's budget. Highlighting that there are various historical sites in all islands, he underscored the crucial importance of establishing museums to preserve the heritage and historical places. The National Museum in Male City showcases several cultural items from various islands across the nation. Atolls have also been developing similar museums to display artifacts and benefiting from them, especially by showcasing the rich culture and heritage of the Maldives to tourists. The government has been exerting several efforts to preserve historical items and places. The Ministry of Divehi Language, Culture and Heritage has also been working to preserve the culture and heritage of the Maldives as well. Under these efforts, a national institution to study heritage was established. The ministry is also working to ensure the limestone mosques in the Maldives secure a position in the World Heritage List, while exerting efforts to establish a laboratory to treat vulnerable cultural items. The government initiates special efforts to promote the export of farmers' produce to markets at more affordable prices.
A key goal of the government is to reduce the dependency on imported food by increasing the availability of local grown products in the Maldivian market. Currently, most fruits and vegetables in the market are imported, leading to higher prices compared to other countries. Despite the fact that various crops are grown across the Maldives, farmers face significant challenges in transporting their products to urban markets, particularly in the capital, Male City. To address the issue, the government has begun taking steps to ensure farmers' products can be sold at lower prices. As such, the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Welfare and the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation have been holding discussions. One proposal under consideration is the use of air cargo to transport farmers' goods. Speaking on the issue, Minister of Agriculture and Animal Welfare, Dr. Aishat Ramila emphasized that simply providing air transport for farmers' produce will not fully resolve the issue. She pointed out that there are additional costs involved in transporting goods from the islands to the flight departure points. She therefore said that ongoing discussions with various stakeholders are critical to finding a long-term solution. The government aims to lower the prices of locally produced crops in the market by reducing transportation costs. It will not only benefit consumers but also increase the profitability for farmers. The government is also engaging with all relevant parties to make transportation more affordable and efficient. The government is making efforts to reduce food imports by promoting domestic agriculture. As such, 200 hectares of land in Uturutilafaru, UTF, are being designated for agricultural use with plans to cultivate crops that are currently imported. In addition, support for local farmers is also being expanded through increased agricultural loans, as well as technical assistance and resources for those interested in farming.
Chief Executive Officer CEO of the Maldives Ports Limited MPL Mohammad Wajih Ibrahim reveals that several initiatives will be launched in Ihawantipor Atoll under the second phase of the bunkering services to be launched in the atoll. The government decided to initiate bunkering services in the Maldives, aiming to diversify the economy and generate more revenue. Speaking at a program aired on PSM News, MPL CEO Wajih disclosed that MPL is finalizing preparations to initiate the bunkering services, with the official launch scheduled for September 19th. He emphasized that MPL will offer 14 maritime services, including pilotage, crew changes, provisioning of food and beverages, maintenance and tug services. Furthermore, Wajih stated that although offshore bunkering services were in the process of being launched, decisions have been made to offer services to the vessels docked at Horofushian Island in Ihawandipor Atoll. He therefore revealed that significant changes will be brought to the atoll, including the dredging of the reef of Horofushi, developing an oil terminal as well as a container terminal, which meet international standards. Additionally, Wajir disclosed plans to develop a terminal in Ihawando, an island in the atoll, which will cater to deep-sea maintenance services for northbound vessels. Efforts are also being made to establish a dockyard on the island as well. Furthermore, Wajir highlighted ongoing efforts to create a yacht marina on Uligan, an island in Ihawandipor which frequently welcomes yachts. He stated that 6 parties have shown interest in this development and also announced that a cruise terminal will also be established in the atoll. State Trading Organization STO announces that its Managing Director Shimad Ibrahim has been appointed as the chairperson of Feneca Corporation Limited. The government decided to move Feneca under the ownership of STO as a subsidiary company. In a social media post, STO announced that Managing Director Shimad has been appointed as the chairperson of Feneca. Meanwhile, 2 additional members have been appointed to the board of directors of Feneca. The 2 members are Ahmad Mazin and Muhammad Nizam. Ahmad Mazin is the Minister of State for Finance, while Muhammad Nizam is the Chief Financial Officer, CFO of STO. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu resolved to designate Feneca as a subsidiary of STO on August 26 based on recommendations from his cabinet. To facilitate this transition, STO will acquire 100% of the shares of Feneca. The decision was made with an aim of enhancing the utility sector, ensuring efficient and standardized service delivery to the public. Additionally, it aims to strengthen the operations of Feneca and empower it financially as well. Decisions have been made to establish a committee comprising representatives from the Ministry of Finance, the Privatization and Corporatization Board (PCB), and STO to streamline and share information regarding the timeline of the efforts leading to the implementation of the change. The government aims to change Feneca under the ownership of Feneca by year-end. Maldives Inland Revenue Authority (MIRA) reveals that Maldives has received $46.6 million as green tax within the past 8 months. This is an increase of 3.7% compared to the green tax revenue generated last year. According to the statistics, the government collected $44.5 million as green tax during the first 8 months of 2023, with $44 million collected in dollars. This year, a total of $46.6 million was collected, with $46 million collected in dollars. The data also shows that $5.6 million was collected as green tax in August, while $4.47 million collected in August 2023. Green tax is imposed on tourists visiting the Maldives to support environmentally friendly initiatives and is levied on resorts, guest houses, hotels, safaris, and tourists themselves. As such, hotels and residential areas and tourist guest house with more than 50 rooms are being charged $6 per day. Meanwhile, hotels and residential areas and tourist guest houses with 50 rooms or fewer are required to pay a green tax of $3 per day. Chinese retail sales and industrial production growth slowed in August, official data shows, as leaders in Beijing seek paths to achieve growth targets despite consumers' reluctance to spend.
More than a year and a half since abolishing strict COVID-19 measures that had dampened activity, the world's second-largest economy has yet to achieve a highly anticipated post-pandemic recovery. A prolonged debt crisis in China's vast property sector, continued deflationary pressure, and high unemployment are among the factors now weighing on investor confidence. In August, Retail sales increased 2.1% year-on-year, slowing from 2.7% in July, according to data released by the National Bureau of Statistics. The figure also came up short of the 2.5% growth forecasted by a Bloomberg survey of analysts. Year-on-year industrial production also slowed, dropping from 5.1% growth in July to 4.5% in August. The Bloomberg forecast had anticipated industrial production to grow 4.7% last month. The new figures are a worrying sign that efforts this year to spur the Chinese economy have not had a major impact, as Beijing looks for ways to achieve its goal of 5% growth in 2024. The National Bureau of Statistics said in a statement that adverse effects of current exchanges in the external environment are increasing, domestic demand is still insufficient, and the economy is still facing many difficulties and challenges in its continued recovery. Unemployment edged upwards to 5.3% in August compared to 5.2% in July. Saturday's data releases comes one day after Beijing announced a long-anticipated rise in the national retirement age as birth rates declined and hundreds of millions of people approach old age. China's total population fell in 2023 for the second consecutive year, with experts warning of severe impacts on the economy, healthcare and social welfare systems if action is not taken.
One person has drowned in Poland and 4 people are missing in the Czech Republic, authorities said on Sunday, as Storm Boris lashed Central and Eastern Europe with torrential rains and flooding.
Since Thursday, swathes of Austria, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania, and Slovakia have been hit by high winds and unusually fierce rains. The storm has caused deaths, and thousands have been evacuated from their homes across the continent. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said on Sunday morning that the country has its first death by drowning in the Kłodzko region. Tusk was traveling through the southwest of the country, which has been hit hardest by the floods. Around 1,600 people have been evacuated in Kłodzko, and Polish authorities have called in the army to support firefighters on the scene. On Saturday, Polish authorities shut the Golkowicz border crossing the Czech Republic after a river flooded its banks, as well as closing several roads and halting trains on the line linking the towns of Prudnik and Nysa. In the Czech Republic, police reported 4 people were missing. 3 were in a car that was swept into a river in the northeastern town of Lipovo-Lazne, and another man was missing after being swept away by floods in the southeast. A dam in the south of the country burst its banks, flooding towns and villages downstream. On Saturday, 4 people died in floods in southeastern Romania, with the bodies found in the worst affected region, Galati in the southeast, where 5,000 homes were damaged. Hundreds of people have been rescued across 19 parts of the country, emergency services said, releasing a video of flooded homes in a village by the Danube River. Parts of northeast Austria have been declared a natural disaster area. Emergency services had made nearly 5,000 interventions overnight in the state of Lower Austria, where flooding had trapped many residents in their homes. Neighboring Slovakia has declared a state of emergency in the capital. Heavy rains are expected to continue until at least Monday in the Czech Republic and Poland.
The format may be new, but few would bet against the winners staying the same. As if record 15-time winners Real Madrid's Champions League prospects were not great enough already, superstar striker Kylian Mbappe's arrival makes Los Blancos the most daunting team in the competition. German side Stuttgart have the honors of facing the reigning kings of Europe in the opening week of the competition, traveling to the Santiago Bernabeu on Tuesday. Madrid defeated Borussia Dortmund in last season's Wembley final to claim the trophy for the 6th time in the last 11 years. Coach Carlo Ancelotti, the most decorated manager in the history of the tournament with 5 triumphs, has not yet found the perfect setup to get Mbappe firing from open play, but few doubt he will. The 25-year-old had arguably his best game for the club in the 2-0 win over Real Sociedad on Saturday in La Liga, threatening the Basque side with his pace and connecting well with Vinicius Jr. in attack. Mbappe scored albeit from the penalty spot, and he's looking forward to his Champions League debut in Madrid's resplendent white. The new look structure has thrown up ties for Madrid at home against Dortmund in a rematch of last season's showpiece and away at Liverpool, whom they defeated in the 2022 final. First comes Stuttgart, continuing a streak of German opponents for Los Blancos after they faced Bayern Munich in the semis before Dortmund in London. Los Blancos have played one European game already this season, defeating Atlanta to win the UEFA Super Cup in August, with Mbappe scoring on his debut. Madrid defender Antonio Rudiger came through Stuttgart's youth system and played in the first team for 4 seasons. Ancelotti has problems in midfield with Eduardo Camavinga, Danny Jude Bellingham and Aurelian out injured, although the Italian was hopeful the latter two could take part against the Germans. Britain's Prince Harry will turn 40 on Sunday, thousands of miles away from his royal roots, with no sign that distance is dimming interest in King Charles's younger son.
With his Netflix documentaries, his charity work, his legal battles with the British tabloid press, and his rift with the rest of the royals, Harry is rarely out of the spotlight. The prince will mark his 40th birthday with a private celebration at his home in Southern California, where he lives with his American wife Meghan and their 2 children. The milestone has prompted a slew of media stories and speculation back in Britain about what his future career might hold and whether he might return to the active royal duties. In one lengthy article, the Sunday Times quoted unnamed friends saying Harry was at an unhappy crossroads in his life, with one former advisor quoted as saying all he does is spend time looking back. But sources close to the prince said Harry was looking to the future with excitement and a list of projects, including another Netflix special, this one about the elite world of professional polo. Later this month, he will attend events in New York for Travelist, his initiative to make the travel industry more sustainable, and for the Diana Award, the charity set up in honor of his late mother, Princess Diana. Critics blame him for the negativity, saying he was the one who chose to talk about the rift with his father, the king, and elder brother Prince William on TV and in his memoir Spare while living off his royal background. Supporters counter that he has come under pressure because of his self-declared mission to hold newspaper bosses to account. He has already successfully sued the Mirror Group of newspapers over phone hacking and other allegations, and is still involved in lawsuits against Rupert Murdoch's British newspaper group and the publisher of the Daily Mail and Mail Online. Harry has acknowledged his media battles have contributed to his family rift, and as it stands, there appear to be no sign of this healing.
And that's all the news we have for today. Thank you all for watching.
relax mind fresh
abadu mehe loku me duwe hedin me alunge immune system se bawaro kada ve නාගටෙන් එනීම එමිහ මජබූරුවානේ දැන් ඉබ්බර කොප්පගේ සිකම් පුරා
මෙතන ආදෝනේ වයින් ඔය තම් කොළ සින්දේ
පතස්තමාට කොල්ලෑන් හෙදුණු ගඩීක ඒ එම්ම රංගලු ගඩි එකඩි පස්සේ සේපා අනෙක් මාහොද ස්ටංගලුවන්
ಬಾಕಿ ಅಮಿಲ್ಲವಂತಕಮ್ಗೆ ರಮ್ಜು ಎಬ್ಬಾವಂತಕಮ್ಗೆ ವಾಫ ಅದಿ ಕೌಮಿಯತ್ಗೆ ಅಸಾಸ್ ಬಹಗುಳೆ ಮೌಲುಮಾತಕಿ ಹಮ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಮೀಹಕವಿಸ್ ಎಂಗೆಂಜೆ ಅಸಾಸಿ ಬೈ
ದಿವೆಹಿ ಕೌಮಿಯತ ಮಿಹಾರ್ ವರಬ್ಬೊಡ ಫೆಂಬುವಾಗೆನ್ ಫೊಯ್ ಸಮಾನೆ ಇಂಗೇತು
ದಿವಿ ಬಸ್ ಉಫೆದಿಫವಾ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಮಾದರಿ ಬಸ್ ಕುರಿಯರುಮ ಕುರಿವಿದಾಣೆ ಕಂತತ್ತ ಅದಿ ದಿವಿಹಿ ಬಹುಗೆ